I'm in downtown Toronto, and there's a pretty famous icon right there. That's the Toronto CN Tower. But I thought, fish guy, you got to go check out Ripley's. All right, guys, we're in. Now, I've never actually been to this aquarium before, so I'm actually really excited to be able to spend the day. I'm totally by myself, so I can take my time and do as much as I want, film as much as I want. It's going to be a good time. The very first thing you see as soon as you walk in the door is this impressive double-cylinder aquarium. Now, it's actually two separate aquariums, one inside another. And the most important thing of note is from the outside, it looks like we've got all these beautiful African and Boona cichlids here. Then we have I believe it's a regal angelfish, which is a marine species. It's some sort of, I don't know, it's a grunt. I'm not a marine guy, you guys know that. We've got some beautiful monos, which are often sold in brackish tanks. A nice big trigger coming through there. And from the outside, there's a nice beautiful queen angel. But from the outside, it looks as if these are two groups of fish in the same tank. Looks like that fish is just swimming in amongst all the African cichlids. It's actually two separate aquariums. One cylinder inside another.
The Ripley's Aquarium of Canada was originally planned to be at Niagara Falls. However, something came up and it ended up being in midtown Toronto, about half hour away from the airport, right south of the CN Tower, as you saw at the beginning. It opened October of 2013, and believe it or not, it houses 1.25 million gallons of marine and freshwater environment and is home to more than 20,000 animals. We're only in the beginnings, and we start off our tour at the incredible gallery called the Canadian Waters. This is looking back, just about to go in there. And the first tank we see is a species of fish called an alewives. Alewives are a minnow-like fish, or a sardine-type fish that is very, very prolific in the Great Lakes, and it forms these dense, rather lack of a better word, bait balls. But this is definitely the showcase, this incredibly impressive display aquarium of native freshwater fishes that inhabit the Great Lakes and surrounding areas. The beautiful sturgeon, prehistoric fish, carp. We saw the paddlefish. Here's one swimming by. They always have to have their mouth open because they are filter feeders. Hard to be a fish of that size. Think of it like a baleen whale. It needs to filter out microscopic little invertebrates. There's a spotted gar there below it. Just incredible. There's a long-eared sunfish and black crappie, very prevalent in their waters. Another panfish. Just incredible. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at that crystalline water. Now, continuing on with the Canadian, we also have many other species. This is the unique habitat they had developed for their giant Pacific octopus, but I never saw it. And then we had a flounder. They're such unique, they're so prevalent in the stores, but they're just such a unique animal. Atlantic lobster. Some of these were 60 years old. And you guys know my love affair for isopods. They had the giant isopod. This thing was massive compared to the diminutive ones. And there's its book lungs. It's just incredible to see one of these animals up close. Just looks like an absolute living alien. Gives you an idea of the scale of the size of it. It's the size larger than my hand. And then after the Canadian Waters, we go into another absolutely breathtaking display. And this area is called Rainbow Reef, and it definitely earns its title. It is an absolutely monster aquarium that has over 53,000 gallons of water with over 100 species of fish in it. And it specializes in all the species of fish from the Indo-Pacific Ocean. There's a beautiful clown trigger. And And then they have their giant kelp tank. Did you see how the fish seem motionless and they move up and down with the waves, the way the waves are used. So it is actually like a true kelp forest. And it's just so unique to see the fish moving up and down with the currents of the water. And once you go on the Pacific coast, off the coast of Vancouver, you find all these incredibly colorful anemones. This is not lighting. These aren't tricks. These are natural colors and these brilliant fuchsias. And probably the biggest showcase to this entire aquarium is this incredible tank called the Dangerous Lagoon. And to see the Dangerous Lagoon, you get to see it from above later, but you walk on this sidewalk that you could step off on, a moving sidewalk. Oh, before we go too far, look how incredible this is. A gigantic, probably a 14-foot sawfish. But this tank is probably one of the most impressive saltwater displays I've seen in many, many, many years. It has a tunnel with a slow-moving conveyor belt. And basically it's the largest moving sidewalk in all of North America. That's either a lemon shark or a tiger shark. This is a Queensland grouper. This thing was all of 5 feet in size. Absolutely massive. Dangerous Lagoon houses almost 80,000 gallons. That's 2.9 million liters. It houses many, many different sharks, rays, green moray eels, and an absolute multitude of other species of fish. I spent, as you guys saw, the entire day there, just going back and forth between all the exhibits. I had an absolute ton of footage to go through. But every single time, these are tarpon. These are things that I've fed by hand in Florida. And these things get to be 11 feet. These are all of probably 5 or 6 feet long. And just to get up close and personal with these sand tiger sharks or lemon sharks, I'm not a shark expert by any means. But right after that, you come out of that tunnel, there's another one they call Shark Reef. And it has blacktip reef sharks. But the most important thing is it has this tunnel. Look at the children. It has this tunnel that goes through it. And the children go, it's like a play area, and then go into this tunnel and just sit there. This is some sort of a nurse shark. To me, it looks like a gigantic tadpole. But this was really, really cool to see. They have a ton of really, really interactive displays. They have 3 real strong missions at this aquarium: conserve, educate, and inspire. And they definitely do uphold each and every one of those values. All these interactive displays they talk about, this one here is now one, you see the bubble, but it's also a very, very educational display because it talks a lot about the lionfish and how this species has become so invasive all over the world. Once you leave this section, you go into what is called the gallery. The gallery kind of showcases Mother Nature's unique species. Stuff that requires maybe it's an individual tank or slightly smaller, more display style tanks. And it starts off with this individual reef tank that has a lot of, has Banggai cardinalfish and all hard stony corals. Very, very impressive display, but very, very different type of habitat from, say, the rainbow reef. The ever lovable porcupine puffers. I've had the mistake of handling one of these, and I paid for it, but this is the beautiful South American electric eel. I said beautiful. It's beautiful in its own way, and it's rather a very, very unique species. Potbelly seahorses. Weedy sea dragons. It's neat in the fact that, look at this incredible cuttlefish. Neat in the fact that seahorses, if you don't know it, but seahorses and sea dragons, the male is the one that actually gives birth. Incredible mangrove archerfish aquarium. This was a very, very impressive tank. This is probably one of the most impressive Amazonian piranha tanks I've seen in a while. It was viewable from 3 sides, so you saw how the trees, it looks like it was cut right into the trees. Really, really impressive. And they were all chunky and healthy. Tygocentris nateri, the red-belly piranha. After that section, you go into this unique little, it's a newer gallery called Shipwreck. And it showcases all sorts of different things, but it really showcases some of the different shipwrecks, like the Edmund Fitzgerald, and some of these shipwrecks that have gone down in the Great Lakes area. And it showcased some of the more unique species of fish, such as this, as the lamprey, the Great Lakes lamprey. This is a species that can moves up from saltwater to freshwater. After that, you go to what's called Ray Bay, and this is a breathtaking aquarium. There's just one after another at this aquarium. I'm just absolutely blown away looking at these incredible spotted eagle rays. The Cowno rays. These are often, you see these in touch tanks. And they did have a touch tank towards the end after when you went upstairs. But one of my absolute favorites, one of my favorite sharks is a hammerhead shark. And this is one of its diminutive cousins called the bonnethead. It's saltwater rays. This ray that's swimming right there was probably 6 feet in diameter. It was massive. And then everybody loves jellies. Next stop, Planet Jellies. This aquarium that's going to be right here in front of us houses giant Pacific sea nettles. And this aquarium is called a creasel tank. And creasel tanks are these large ovals that are on their side, and there's no corners whatsoever, and the flow moves in a circular motion because jellyfish can't swim. Jellyfish depend on their environments to move them around. And that creasel tank is the largest one in North America. These were fascinating, upside down jellyfish. Super, super cool. Now, this to me would probably be the thing that impressed me absolutely the most. The transparency, the driving home those messages of education and conservation. This is their life support system room. This is the system that handles the dangerous lagoon and Ray Bay and those large saltwater systems. And this is showcasing everything on how all the filtering systems for everything for their systems work. They use large sand filters, they use large foam fractioning filters. And this is absolutely incredible to see firsthand. And the fact that it's open and transparent for everybody to see, to me, sends home an incredible message. I really applaud you, Ripley's, for showing this stuff off. This might be something that, if you're there with kids, they want to see the ooh and ah, and they want to see all the animals. But this, to me, was without question one of the highlights. It shows you all the education on how everything works and why it's so important and how much water they actually use. So when following along with their mandate to conserve, not only do they conserve, this aquarium recycles almost 99% of the water it uses. Think of that on the scale that we talked about in the millions of gallons that we're talking about. And 99% of that water is reused and recycled. That is incredible. It's actually true that the human sources like the washrooms and the cafe actually waste more water than does this massive facility on its own. This is what the Dangerous Lagoon looks like from above. The Dangerous Lagoon being that incredible tank with all the sharks in that North America's largest moving walkway. There's the big green sea turtle. Absolutely incredible. Well, you succeeded, Ripley's. I'm truly inspired.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. I've been to so many aquariums around the world, and I can honestly say I'm blown away. I'm a little bit blown away. This one is absolutely in that top group. They didn't have absolutely everything. There's some things were in some smaller enclosures than I would have liked to have seen. There wasn't as good a representation of certain areas that may have appealed to me more than others. But the stuff they did have was impeccably good shape, really, really top notch. The displays for the most part were absolutely outstanding. Hope you guys enjoyed it too. So if you're ever in the Toronto area, and I know it's a major center, it's a major city, it's a major stopover, it's right downtown, it's only about half hour from the airport, definitely make the trip to Ripley's Aquarium. Cheers, guys.